Mrs. Poindexter, there was some breaking news that came out yesterday about
Ooh,
you,
there
and I wanted
was.
to ask about it because I feel like if you and your husband were getting a divorce, you might have told us. But the tabloids said y'all were getting a
Drama.
divorce.
Really? That's news to me. Did he file for divorce and not tell me? Is he pulling a Tyreek Hill over here?
Yeah.
Oh, my assistant accidentally filed the paperwork. What? Well, I feel
That's
like we
great.
need to get Mr. Poindexter in here. He's got a lot of explaining to do.
Right? I mean, okay, this is all news to me. I did not know that I was getting divorced. That's really shocking.
That's
Guys,
funny.
I mean,
is it fake news?
Oh, totally fake news. Yeah. I mean,
Oh God.
Listen, that man's not divorcing me.
No, not a chance. If anybody was going to divorce, it would be you, not him.
Yes. And I don't even know if I would do that. I would actually take him on a hunting trip and, like pull like something happens. I don't know. Something in the bush was moving.
Yeah. God. I mean, a little friendly fire incident or something. I don't know.
My bad. Thought it was a quail.
Quail.
That's why I keep a really high insurance policy on him. No.
Seriously.
Hunting accidents do happen.
See, guys?
This is true. Never.
Miss Poindexter.
Just joking.
All those people are like, I want to marry her. Be like, do you though?
This is like, I don't know how people read all of those, like the Inquirer and stuff, because obviously all that stuff is just, they randomly just decided, hey, we're going to be like, oh, Miss Poindexter is getting a divorce or whatever. Like, it's not even real stuff. Like,
well,
not at all.
Weird. It's so weird because if you Google Mrs. Poindexter, it's like the third topic that pops up is Miss Poindexter getting divorced. And I was like,
that's wild.
And it's been that way for a while now. And I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, why would, unless it's because I think it's this, people get scammed and they are like, and so I think they're like, oh, we knew she was married. So is she getting divorced? So it's like, it's a very common search term or search,
that could be. So they type it in and divorce shows up and then they just take that and make it an article because it just says, it suggests divorce as an option to click.
Yes. And I think what happens, and this is my theory on this, is that so a lot of things that are getting written online are these like little articles. A lot of them are written by AI tools, right? And so I think the AI tool, the way it's worded, you're like, that doesn't even freaking make sense.
Exactly.
And I think what happens is that they pull from different news articles and then they pull for like a common search and they see that a lot of people are searching for like, am I getting divorced because they're getting scammed, and or like the scammer's telling them like, oh, I just got divorced or I need to get divorced. And so I think the AI is pulling all this from a Google search and be like, oh, she's getting divorced and let's make an article on it, and it's a good clickbait.
Yep. And I think you're right, because a lot of that stuff, it's either written by someone who doesn't have English as a first language or it's AI. And I think it's both of those at different times. But it's so obvious when something's not real because they also don't ever give real details or have any sources or actually say whether something's true or not. Any of these types of articles that you see, all the clickbaity ones, it's like, there's not even any information in there. It's just like, is she getting divorced? Well, we haven't seen it anywhere. So who knows? Like, you just put that out there.
Or it's a Nigerian scammer that actually wrote it and then they're sending it to the people that they're scamming. Look at, I'm getting divorced. See, it was in the news.
That could be true. Actually, they're pretending like they're giving the tabloids a story for money and they just made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just never know. I mean, listen, people, majority of everything on the internet is fake.
Yep.
I wish people understood this.
Almost everything.
And even the news. I mean, the news, it's all about making money. I mean, everything's about making money. If the NFL didn't...
Oh, sorry.
I would say if the NFL didn't teach you something like watching the Super Bowl this year, it's like, it's about making money. And also like every single news organization, they just want the clicks, and the more clicks they get, the more money they get. So if it's not sensational or like click worthy, they're just not going to even talk about it.
Well, and some of the most obvious things to me. So say if you're on Twitter and you look up, I don't know, there's a clip about Jason Kelsey in a mask, and you go on, say, his post or his podcast post. The first 30 comments are all AI bot scammers advertising AI generated shirts for sale. That's on any kind of post, right? Or if you go to the search term for something that's trending, often a ton of posts will just be AI bot reposts of the exact same title, but there's no information and no actual substance. It's crazy. And so people see that and somehow they just believe it's real, genuinely.
Yeah.
And it is far from the case.
Yeah. It's amazing. So just beware of the internet.
Yeah.
We haven't warned you enough.
Exactly. It's not just people pretending to be us. People are pretending to do and be all kinds of things on there. I mean, it happens there's all kinds of different scams. You know?
There was on one of my fake Facebook profiles, because I don't even use my own Facebook, but there was a fake profile on there and they had a fake Luke Combs following them and like interacting. I'm like,
oh, that's funny.
Do you guys not look? I mean, it was like Luke Combs with like 20 followers. I'm like, do you not look at the profiles before you
It's like thinking? Luke COOMBS 748351.
Like, yeah, it's pretty hysterical. But yeah, I think that people don't realize it's everybody. Like if you have an online presence, somebody has used your stuff.
And that's one of the things we notice when a guy comes to us and says he's been scammed. We will go look at his profile on whatever platform. And almost always everyone that they follow or is following them are scam accounts. They're all fake scam accounts.
Yeah, so I'm like
this is none of these are real. You're calling me a scammer, but like you follow only scammers. Like all your friends are scammers, guys. It's pretty wild.